Hi everyone, my name is Connor Walsh, and for my research project, I focused on the implementation of sports data and analysis into a coach's decision making at the collegiate level, specifically at my alma mater, the University of Delaware. For this project, I partnered with University of Delaware Athletics and their newly emerging analytics department. Delaware is currently home to 21 Division I athletic programs that compete in the CAA conference. Finding themselves outside of the Power Five, Delaware Athletics does not generate a lot of revenue, even with their football and basketball programs, so 80% of the budget comes from institutional support. Despite that, the university was recently able to use donations to finance the construction of their new Whitney Athletic Center, designed to house and expand the resources for the department's support staff in order to truly maximize athletic performance. On top of that, Athletic Director Chrissy Rowak recently greenlit the creation of a new sports science and analytics department to take its use to the next level. For this project, I collaborated with the Director of Sports Science and Analytics, Christina Rasnake, who happens to also be my former internship supervisor. For my time as an intern, we discussed the potentials of analytics at the university as well as the challenges limiting its potential. The main one we identified here was proper data implementation, which is why the problem statement we came up with was coaching staffs are not certain how to incorporate data analysis into their decisions and are not effectively using the data being presented to them. From there, I developed the research question of how can coaching and support staffs at the University of Delaware properly implement sports data analysis into their decision-making processes in order to find ways for Delaware athletics to take full advantage of sports analytics. For the literary research phase of the project, I focused on how sports analytics are currently being applied at other collegiate programs, as well as how data implementation could be achieved through immersion. While research into this field is still relatively new, two institutions steeped in analytics are the University of Alabama and Boston University. The University of Alabama recently brought in directors of both sport performance and performance sciences. These two were able to overhaul specifically the football team's training program by implementing a more scientific approach towards improving different training methods that helped enhance athlete performance. At Boston University, their director of analytics has actually written software that determines which plays and situations work and which players and combinations are behind the success of those situations, specifically for men's hockey. Both universities also invest heavily in performance technologies, something Delaware also does, but not yet to this degree. This technology has encouraged more of a buy-in from athletes like former Alabama running back Najee Harris because the idea of being measured further motivates them and allows them to compete against a tangible number. From there, I looked into the topic of immersive analytics, which uses technology based on augmented reality and virtual reality to expand the visualization of data in analytics. This VR technology creates a virtual environment that exposes players and coaches to real-life situations. These VR headsets then create immersion through situated and collaborative visualization, allowing coaches and players to directly interact with the data. The second phase of my research was to go more in depth on the issues Delaware Athletics currently faces by interviewing Christina. During our conversation, we covered multiple areas of the analytics field as well as her experiences in Delaware, but I came away with four main takeaways. The first being that her main challenge seems to be being able to delegate analytics related tasks to people who simply know what they are doing. With the analytics staff currently limited to her and two interns, a lot of her collaboration comes with a sport performance team who specialize in areas like athletic training and nutrition, but are not well versed in data collection. Secondly, Delaware Athletics is considered to be top of the line in terms of their use of performance technologies to spark data analysis, but have yet to apply sports analytics to actual game situations on the sidelines. Part of that is due to a limited staff, but Christina's goal is to eventually compete with FBS level institutions by applying data to game plans. Another thing inhibiting this potential, however, is poor planning by coaches. According to Christina, she is constantly dealing with coaches being last minute with their practice plans, leaving her little time to provide analytical feedback. If these coaching staffs can eventually learn to collaborate with the analytics team, Christina feels that the future of analytics in college sports can then lie with recruiting and scouting. Once this department expands, she feels the next step for Delaware will be developing analytical scouting reports to prepare each program for all their competitions, while at the same time taking an analytical approach to finding recruits that will fit in with each team's needs and philosophies. Based on all this research, the conclusion I came to was that the athletic department needs to facilitate more of a buy-in to analytics from the coaching staffs. Based on that, my recommendations to Delaware Athletics would be to expand the analytics staff once the budget allows it, because then Christina will be able to delegate tasks to others, allowing her to complete projects that go beyond the surface level of data in areas like scouting, recruiting, and game situations, and therefore making data more useful for coaching staffs. Secondly, the analytics team should be included in each team's development of practice and game plans. If coaches were to send the analytics teams rough drafts of plans ahead of time in terms of what drills and team sessions they will be doing on a given day during the week, Christine and her staff could have more effectively break down data about where the team should be and then provide a more useful report to each coach. Finally, I believe that the athletic department should invest in VR technology. These headsets come at a relatively low cost and can effectively help enhance player development by establishing an environment where players can develop proper visual responses and acquire task-relevant information that will result in faster decision making. Thank you guys for listening to my presentation, and I look forward to seeing your feedback.